I recently went back down memory lane. January 2021. 5-year-old messages, 5-year-old journal entries, a season where I wasn't trying to look better, I was trying to get better at the root because I kept seeing bad fruit that didn't match what I believed. And that felt confusing, especially for someone who had started a blog titled Joyfully Alive with the tagline, "We were made to thrive." I knew I was made to thrive, but parts of my life were falling painfully short. And then I remembered something Jesus said, that when the enemy came for him in John 14, verse 30, he had nothing in common with him, no power over him. But when the enemy came for me, especially in moments of weakness or insecurity, I folded into fear. Because fear and I, we had history. A familiar history, a childhood history, even a generational one. So I began a pilgrimage of sorts with a mentor who pointed to one, the Son, Jesus, unearthing places in my soul where fear had taken a chokehold, found by my agreement. Doing the deep, holy work of inner healing, God touched places I didn't even know had names. And here's what I learned. Thriving isn't striving. Thriving is abiding in truth and love. It's being led by God's voice from above, led by his loving eyes, led into wholeness and healing so I could finally rise. I was raised by God to rise. And now I continue to rise so I can raise my children to rise. That's why Risen Jen exists. Not to point people to a mere imperfect person, me, but to point parents and mentors to the one who sets us free, Jesus. How? With truth. Because when we rise in him, we don't just change our own lives. We help to change the trajectory of their lives. Away from lies. This is Risen Jen. We rise so they can also rise in him. The rise and transformation God brought had everything to do with learning to hear his voice and seeing myself through my Creator's eyes. And it's that rise that is now helping me to raise my children to rise. So if you want to hear more of that risen journey, go ahead and subscribe because I have more to share along those lines. Together, let's rise to raise the next generation to rise.